from DJ Sokol Arena here in Omaha, Nebraska. It is Big East Conference Volleyball, the Big East Conference opener tonight between Villanova and the Creighton Blue Jays. Coming up next on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi. This building has been a fortress for Creighton over the last decade, but the last team to win here, well, it was Villanova a few seasons ago. Alongside Shannon Smolinski, I'm Donnie Barnes. As we get set for this conference opener, Creighton start their quest for a 6th consecutive conference title, but Shannon, Villanova always give them a tough time, and they've had this match circled on their calendar for a long time.
And that it is. It'll be a tough match tonight. Coach Booth talked earlier this week on how tonight's win for both programs would be a resume builder. You have Villanova sitting, that's a projected top 50 team, and you also have Creighton, who's currently sitting at number 14. So both programs know what a big win tonight would be for both of them.
And if Villanova are going to pull this off tonight, they'll rely on their senior setter and their leader, Emma Decker.
This will be Decker's 100th match played as a Wildcat. The senior setter is second in the conference in assists, and she also leads her team in aces. The key to watching Decker is can she continue to run her hitters in a fast tempo and evenly distribute the Wildcats' offense in transition.
On the other side, Creighton have been led by a standout freshman so far this year, Keely Davis.
Coach Booth spoke about Keely's confidence and how week to week she continues to get stronger and going after her offensive shots aggressively. And that is exactly what the Jays are going to need in Davis as they are facing a very good defensive team in the Wildcats.
Creighton haven't lost a Big East Conference game, period, in the last 2 years, but the last team to beat them in conference, it was Villanova. Opening serve coming up next.
What is a Villanovan? In 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Great energy in this building as usual tonight, as Creighton and Villanova just about set to square off. And Shannon Smolinski, the nerves and the adrenaline is always there on that conference opening night. If you're a coach, how do you preach to your team to channel that in the right way?
You know, it starts out with a plan. You know, I think the biggest thing that both teams need to really focus on is making sure that they are executing the plan that they came in tonight. Obviously, that starts with serve and pass and having that ball control, but executing that game plan and trusting each other is going to be huge for both teams tonight.
There is Josh Steinbach in his 13th year at the helm of this Villanova program, and he steadily built them up. Didn't have a lot of resources when he started. Speaking of starting from not a lot of resources, Kirsten Bernthal Booth in her 17th season, she was telling us earlier this week she remembers playing in front of 50 people her first couple of years here. And now, of course, they regularly draw, well, almost 2,000 a game here at Sokol Arena. You see her record in her 17th season. Recently celebrated her 350th and then flew right past that number. Yes. She continues to build a powerhouse here in the Midwest. So here we go. Claire Delaplane on serve for Villanova to start this match. And Megan Ballinger with the cut shot. Opening point to the Jays.
That's something that Villanova spoke about. Short rallies would be in favor of the Jays. Long rallies would be in favor of the Wildcats. And so I think with Coach Kirsten and speaking of executing a game plan, getting that first ball kill is going to be key tonight for the Jays.
That serve might have been going out. And Villanova played it, and Creighton win the point.
You see there, she's trying to go high line, and that ball might have gotten set too far outside the pin.
Creighton out to a quick 2-0 lead. Villanova need a response here, even though it's very early. Back row, Jayla Zimmerman. Ballinger blocked. Well, she thought she had a gimme there, and Villanova, good net presence to keep this point alive. And there's another swing and the first kill of the match for Mallory Potts. Her third attempt on that particular sequence, and the third one was good.
And that's something else that Coach Booth talked about this week, is how good the Wildcats are in transition. And so their defensive rallies, they do a really great job at the net of getting block touches, which allows that ball to slow down and get some great defensive touches there by the Wildcats.
That's a good set from Madeline Cole, helping the Jays take a 3-1 lead.
And there you see Keely Davis doing what Keely Davis is going to need to do tonight. She's going to need to be able to find those shots, whether they be deep in the corner or some off-speed rolls, and that's exactly what the Jays are going to need in Davis tonight.
Brittany Witt serving for the Jays. Tight to the net, second ball. Somehow batted up in the air, and the Jays send it over. And then the dink, good enough from Allie Olsonowski, the New Orleans native.
And that was smart of her. She saw Cole pulled off to play defense. She thought, you know what, I'm going to go and see if I can't catch her to play that first ball. But Hickman did a really good job of trying to take some of that out. Unfortunately, she was just too far off of the net.
And into the net from Emma Decker, who is their best server, but her first serve of the night, not her best.
And I don't think Villanova's going to be too upset with that. I think that they came into this week saying that you're going to miss some, but we have to stay aggressive. You cannot just be putting that ball into play.
Yeah, Josh Steinbach did speak about that this week. He said a missed serve always feels a lot worse than it actually is statistically. You have to stay aggressive from that service line, especially if you're going to beat a team like Creighton. There's that left-handed swing, and eventually the kill for Sana Barnes, who is their outstanding sophomore.
Just a tremendous athlete. As Coach Booth talked a little bit about her this week as well, and how she's so hard to defend, because wherever that block is going to take away, she's going to go the other way. She is just a really smart, versatile hitter.
Yeah, Coach Booth said most hitters have tendencies, and Barnes doesn't. You never know where she's going to go. Villanova looking to tie this opening set. They do not, though. Great reactions by Keely Davis, among others. And the Jays back to a 2-point lead.
And what great energy in the gym. You hear just the crowd erupt from just a great defensive dig there by Witt. And that's just what you love to see when you're watching great volleyball.
Brittany Witt always has a lot of fans here. She's a local Omaha Marion grad, but sounds like she has even more tonight. There's Barnes. Dug, though, by Cole very calmly. Zimmerman's attack. And Villanova back within one.
What I really love about the Wildcats is how disciplined they are on their block setup. It is so important at this level to be able to get block touches, to be able to slow that ball down, and that is what allows Villanova to be able to execute with a fast offense, is because they are able to get block touches at the net.
That was Olsonowski with the last kill for Villanova. She has 2 already. And now they do tie this opening set as Claire Delaplane on the board.
Just really disciplined volleyball that you're seeing right now here in Villanova. They're doing a really good job, Decker is, of distributing that ball both to the right side and the outside. So it's really hard for Creighton to pick one, because she's doing a great job of distributing it to both of them.
It's one of those block touches at the net you were just talking about. And Creighton respond with one of their own. And then another. Good rally here. Tipped into the donut. It was covered, though, by Delaplane. Barnes is blocked. Delaplane again. To take something off. And then cross court. There was Kostelak with her first kill.
That was a very heavy ball that she just hit there. She saw that the left back was just cheating in just a little bit, and she was able to take that ball hard down that sideline. But what you're seeing here from both teams is just such balance from their offense.
And that Goes wide, and that's an ace for Naomi Hickman, the first ace of the match. Hickman, a junior from Lawrence, Kansas. Her sister Rachel is a freshman at Kansas on that volleyball team. And Hickman got an arm on that as it may have been headed long. That's a break for Villanova.
You know, I think Villanova came into tonight knowing that they might not be the best passing team out of them versus the Jays, but coach said they have to be passing consistently. And in Delaplane right there, you saw an ace and then backed it up with an out of system. They're going to need to be a little bit stronger on getting their hitters in system.
A short set for Megan Ballinger, and she put that away. He's trying to create some separation in this opening set as they send Jayla Zimmerman to the line. There was Delaplane. Right back over. Villanova the upper hand in this point. Can they make it count? Upped by Zimmerman. And then Kostelak. Boy, that heavy right arm of hers, she can turn a scramble into a point.
Yeah, she can. And what you saw there is her body was showing as if she was going cross court. But then what she did is hitting on her way down, she saw that seam opened up and she went for it. And that's just a very smart play, just having those soft eyes to see that the block has opened there.
Delaplane upped awkwardly but effectively by Zimmerman, who then back row attacks and makes it a 4-0 Creighton run.
That's a really smart set by Cole. I think Villanova does a really good job on their blocking assignments. And what I mean by that is their pins and their middles do a great job of finding who their hitter is, staying with their hitter. But when you have a back row threat in Zimmerman, it's just one more hitter to defend. I think that was a really smart set there by Cole.
Villanova end that 4-0 run. Much needed point for them. Sophia Howling went off the block.
If you're a middle, if you're Howling and you get a good pass from serve receive and you're able to run that slide, you're able to capitalize typically on a block that might be floating out, and that's exactly what she did there.
Kostelak. That was off the block onto the Villanova side. Point for Creighton. They've taken 5 of the last 6.
Yeah, and that was another, she saw that her block wasn't being disciplined there, and she was able to not be afraid of seeing that those hands are in front of them, but still being able to go after them because she can use that as a tool.
When you coach young volleyball players, Shannon, how do you teach them to have that vision when they're in midair to see what the block is doing as they're getting ready to swing?
It's really hard to do. As a hitter, you have to worry about timing. You have to worry about, what shots that you're trying to produce on the floor. But you have to keep that ball out in front. And so if you're keeping that ball out in front in your peripheral vision, you should be able to see what that block is giving you. And then the higher level that you play, and you're hanging up there for a little bit longer with your vertical, it's a little bit easier. But I think trusting your shot as well, and why not just go for it? And if you get blocked, try something else next time.
Cut shot, but boy, Brittany Witt was right there for it. Zimmerman was soundly blocked by Olsenowski. One of these longer rallies. Potts was dug, and then Ballinger went into the net as she tried to punch it over.
In this match, you cannot be predictable. Both teams do a really good job of being stopped on their setup for blocking, reading what their setter is showing them, and they're doing a really good job of setting up at least 4 hands on their hitters.
There's that back row attack from Zimmerman again.
Yeah, and that's smart. Cole is seeing this another where you have to have that peripheral vision as a setter. You also have to be able to see where those blockers are going. Are they going with you or are they going away from you? And she saw that those blockers were going to set heavy up on her pins, and so she saw that she had a one-on-one opportunity with her back row player.
There was some miscommunication there for Creighton. Villanova back within 2. But you talk about that peripheral vision, Shannon, and Kirsten Bernthal Booth used a term this week that I'd never heard before. She talked about having soft eyes.
She did, and you do hear that a lot in coach speak. And typically when I'm talking to any of our hitters, defensive kid setters, you tell them you can't just set up on, one specific thing. You have to be able to see the ball. You have to be able to see the court. As a defensive player or a blocker, you have to be able to read their arm and their shoulder. So being able to see all those things is very important to be able to be quick and be able to make quick decisions as well.
There's nothing soft about that last strike from Naomi Hickman as Creighton are up 13-10, and Madeline Cole always serves a heavy ball. And it's given Villanova trouble there. Creighton looking to put this one away. Blocked at the net. There was Olsen-Oski again. How can Villanova get back within 2? Good scramble by Emily Bressman to keep that alive. And that is in play and down. Keely Davis, big rally win for Creighton.
What a tremendous swing there. I mean, what she's showing tonight is how high she can be contacting that ball. Even though she has a blocker in front of her, she is not scared to go up and over him because that's how high she's elevating tonight.
Again, Villanova couldn't handle Cole's serve. Davis, though, didn't quite get that set in her wheelhouse. Hickman was dug. There's that left-handed stroke again from Sanaa Barnes.
I'll be interested to see how the setters learn throughout the match. Over there, you have a mismatch with Keely Davis and Barnes. That's a mismatch. You have a 5'9" player that is very capable of jumping very well, but it's still a mismatch. So it'll be interesting to see how each setter treats each mismatch because both teams are so offensively balanced.
Timeout on the floor. Creighton up 15-11 in this first set.
What is a Villanovan in 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go. Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Shot of the campus at Creighton University. Had some rain here in Omaha this morning. It cleared up in the afternoon. And Creighton with a 15-11 lead over Villanova in this opening set. We look at the series history between these two teams. Creighton have dominated everyone, winning the last 5 Big East titles. But Villanova, we mentioned it in the open, one of the teams that's given them a tough time. One of only 2 Big East teams to defeat them at all since 2015. And again, Creighton's last league loss 2 years ago was against Villanova. That was in Philadelphia, a straight sets defeat. And so this has always been a team that has matched up pretty well with the Jays, and they're giving them a battle as usual in this opening set. But Creighton doing just enough so far to keep them at arm's length. Keely Davis on serve for the Jays. 4 points matching Creighton's largest lead of the set, and now it's 5. As Jayla Zimmerman now in the front row with another kill.
Jayla does a great job. She's so versatile. She can swing out of the back row. She can swing on the outside. She can swing on the right side. And what Coach Booth really was impressed with Zimmerman as of late is her ability to continue to work on different shots. And that's what you saw right there is that hard cut shot.
Cole and Davis combined to somehow keep that up. And that is kill number 5 of this opening set for Jayla Zimmerman.
Yeah, her range of shots. The shot before, she took that ball at a hard cut, and that one she saw that she was able to tool the block on that in the seam right there for an easy kill. So that's just some discipline.
Another timeout called by Villanova as that deficit is swelled to 6. And there's Josh Steinbach, not pleased. He's talked about how his program has been able to grow over his last 13 years. He said the success of the basketball program, not surprisingly, has given them a lot of resources. The whole athletic department at Villanova has gotten a lot of resources they didn't used to have with the basketball team's success. He said, we're getting the things we need to compete at a higher level. We're getting close to being resourced at a level that can compete for a Big East championship. And we've talked about this a lot, Shannon, over the last few years. The Big East getting stronger top to bottom in volleyball. It's still Creighton and Marquette in those top 2 spaces, certainly over the last few years and probably again this year. But the parity is starting to increase.
That it is. And as you mentioned, with Marquette and Creighton being sitting in those top 2 spots, those are your benchmarks if you're Villanova and your other Big East teams. And it is. And I think they're doing a better job of growing the sport within their community, whether it be within their high schools and within their club programs. But you're starting to see volleyball nationally just taken a lot more seriously and being a lot more invested in, and that's definitely something that you need to have if you're trying to build a program.
Creighton looking to pull away in set 1. And there's an ace for Davis. 18-11.
You're seeing Creighton doing a really good job of serving deep. They know that they have a balanced attack, but if we can keep them out of system. So you're not seeing a lot of balls dropping short. You're seeing a lot of balls sailing pretty deep, going right after those passers' shoulders.
There's a stumble there from Delaplane as she approached that ball. Villanova have been out of system throughout this point. They're a pretty good out of system team, though. Kostelak. Wow.
There's another seam ball, and I'm surprised because I know the Wildcats are typically one of the better blocking teams in the conference, and so if you're Coach Steinbach, you're going to say we need to do a better job of hitting our blocking assignments because there's a lot of seams that they're giving up right now that I'm sure if you're seeing that as a coach, you're going to want to have that more polished.
Keely Davis giving Villanova a lot of trouble from the service line. Sanaa Barnes, long, 20-11. Another timeout called by Villanova. Now they were hanging with Creighton for the first half of this first set, but the Jays have pulled away to a 9-point advantage now. Look at the head-to-head stats between these two teams. And it might not look like a huge difference between them. What stands out to you, though, when you look at those numbers?
As you mentioned, nothing really, jumps out at you. And so when you see very evenly statistics with your kills per set, digs per set, blocks per set, that usually comes down to unforced errors. And so when you're looking at Villanova and what they've done on the serve and pass game, whether it be missed serves or missed opportunities on passing, you're seeing them missing opportunities where they are out of system a lot. And so they're not getting the opportunity to stay in their fast offense. And that's what's been keeping them successful in the non-con. And so that's what's stands out to me.
Villanova do run a slightly different system from a lot of teams. Like you said, they're pretty versatile too. Depending on where the ball is, they have some different plays that they like to run.
Right, yeah, so they go fast, pin to pin. They do use their middles. They're not really able to use their middles right now. But when you have 3 pins and your 2 outsides and your right side in Barnes, and you're able to distribute it between the 2 of them and also be able to go fast, it's really hard to defend, and we're just not able to see them do that.
Here's Barnes. She had a clean swing at that, but there was Brittany Witt again. Barnes tries another time, and this time changes up and scores.
It's so interesting how coaches truly know their teams. Villanova said prior, if we are in long rallies, it will be in favor of the Wildcats. If we are in short rallies, it will be in favor of the Jays. And it is a true testament tonight. You'll see any of those long defensive rallies, they are really good. But the Jays are doing a great job of going one and done and getting a clean kill on serve and pass.
And there's another extended rally that Villanova wins, so back-to-back points for them. And even if they aren't able to come back in this first set, Shannon, they want to build some momentum for set 2 at least.
You're right. They have to do a better job of putting more pressure on Creighton in serve receive, and they have to do a better job of slowing those hitters down and getting those block touches that they were doing such a great job of earlier in the set, and they've just kind of lost their focus and a little bit of their game plan.
Sprawling dig by Witt and a perfect one. And then the dink. Boy, what a play by Witt to start that sequence, though.
She's doing a phenomenal job tonight. You know, she had that clean swing that she was able to dig against Barnes and just putting her body out there. And that's exactly what you want to see in your libero, and especially with your senior libero. I mean, when you're throwing your body out there, that's just showing that grit and fight for your teammates.
Witt went to the bench on that next rotation. She has played in every single set since she came to campus 4 years ago. 21-14 now as Villanova have taken 3 of the last 4 points, but running out of time in set 1.
You're right. If you're the Wildcats, you're going to say, how can we find a way to string along a run here? And so it's putting pressure on those passers. And then once you put pressure on those passers, it makes it easier for your blockers because then you're able to know what hitter she's going to be keying in on.
Nice dig by Anna Morse on that back row. But then the swing was too long from Claire Delaplane. Villanova thought there was a tip, but the officials did not spot one. It's 22-14.
They're so hard to see. It looks like she just sneaked right inside of her right hand in the antenna. It doesn't appear to be a touch.
That's off the block and out. Sophia Howling with the kill.
And that's where you're going to get the block touch called, is when you're intentional with it. And that's exactly what Howling did there. She saw that those blockers' hands were in front of her, but she was intentional with her shot placement of tooling off of her hands instead of just swinging into them.
Second ball, there's Witt again. And then Ballinger over the bench. 23-15.
What a great up by Witt. Just super disciplined to know that my setter's in the front row, and if my setter's in the front row and she's a 6'3" senior setter and they're down in the match, if she's got a tight ball, she might go up and swing. So sometimes as a setter, you might catch the defense leading too soon. And so that just shows tremendous discipline there by Witt.
Kostelak got underneath that one.
I think I felt the wind on that one. I think there was a little bit of a breeze. I think that helped it kind of sail out.
There was an ooh from the crowd behind us, too. First service error of the match for Creighton. There's Davis. Boy, the vision of a freshman to be able to spot that shot and dink it over the block, really good. Really
good, and for her to know that I don't always have to swing away. If I see that my defense is deeper and I'm able to go, my setter was able to go fast, and I see that's open, why not go for it? And that's really smart.
Set point for Creighton with the fans on their feet at Sokol. With the dig, Cole ups. Zimmerman off the block, into the net. Creighton takes set 1, 25-16. It was tight for the first half of this opening frame, but Creighton able to pull away late. And they'll look to carry that momentum into set number 2. We'll see if Villanova can tie things up when we come back.
What is a Villanovan in 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Creighton leading a set to none here at Sokol as they took the opener by a fairly comfortable margin in the end. Villanova kept it close for a while, but the Jays pulled away late. This is the 2019 preseason Big East Volleyball Coaches poll. Marquette picked to finish first for the second straight year. Creighton used that as motivation quite a bit last season when they went 18-0 in conference. But Kirsten Bernthal-Booth told us this week they haven't really talked about it that much in the lead up to this match.
Yeah, I think with her, it's a new team. You know, they're missing a lot of key pieces that they had last year, and even though it is back-to-back that they were picked second in the preseason poll, I think they're their own benchmark. I think that they're trying to focus on what it is that they're trying to do within these new pieces that they have on the floor, and I think that that's what is motivating them of being their own benchmark and continuing to get better from week to week.
In that opening set, as we look at our stat sheet off screen, the thing that jumps out at me, Shannon, is that Creighton hit 405, which is pretty outstanding in any set of volleyball.
It is, and what's even more outstanding is, and I just talked about the differences from the team last year and the team this year, and it's very balanced. I mean, they are sharing the ball between, you know, many of their attackers, and I think that that is what is going to be the difference in their success this year.
Jay starts set number 2 on serve with Jayla Zimmerman. And again, Villanova's initial pass, not quite where they wanted it. There's Ballinger diving to keep that up. And then off the net, Decker couldn't keep it alive. Opening point to Creighton in set 2.
As a middle blocker, you're always going to take the assist, especially if the assist is with a one-handed, perfect up to place there for Kostelak.
There is Kostelak, boy. You just continue to marvel at how hard she can strike the ball.
Yeah, she's definitely swinging with her whole body, that's for sure. You can feel the sound, you can the arm swing and the velocity that she puts on that ball. But what is even more impressive is the fact that Creighton is doing a great job of being able to keep in system for their hitters to have one-on-one matchups.
And then the ace for Jayla Zimmerman is Claire Delaplane wasn't quite sure whether to play it or not.
That's where Creighton, they continue to attack behind the line, not only attack behind the line of the service line, but to be attacking the passer's shoulders, and that's exactly what they're doing tonight. Davis. Her back row attack not quite as strong as Jayla Zimmerman's so far. You're right, and it's something that's still a pretty new position for her within the Jays of playing 6 rotation. Typically, when she's in the back row, she'll have a DS go in for her, and it looks like this set they're giving her a little bit of opportunity to, get comfortable with playing in that position. Perfect pass from Witt. Perfect setup for Kostelak, and you see the result. Her match-leading 7th kill. Yeah, she's doing a really good job of seeing that block. Even though that it's there, it's just not pressing over the net. And so even though you have 2 blockers in front of you, if their hands are not over the plane of the net, they're not going to be able to put up a good block on you. Violation called on Villanova, 5-1 Creighton. Yeah, it looks like a back row attack there on Decker. Sometimes you'll have that happen when it's those bang-bang plays. And that's exactly what happened there. She got caught for a back row. Another ace for Erica Kostelak. And Villanova's serve receive has really struggled since about that midway point of the first set. they are having a hard time making an adjustment on those deep serves, and it looks like, you know, if you're a coach, you have to make an adjustment. And it looks like that's what they did there is subbing in Fairchild to give her an opportunity, with Delaplane having, you know, a little bit of an issue with that deep ball.
Big run up for Keely Davis, and the Jays continue to roll.
She's really coming into her own. I know with her being a freshman, she's a redshirt freshman, so having her in the gym last year, Coach Booth talked about how important that was for her to be able to be trained and have confidence going into this season.
Timeout called by Villanova. Creighton looking for that 2-0 lead. More when we come back from Sokol.
What is a Villanovan in 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Both these teams looking for resume-building victories. Creighton have already had 2 this year. They beat Kentucky and USC a few weeks ago. Very impressive wins. Villanova, if they could win here tonight, this is one they could really use as they try to bolster their potential tournament resume for down the line. Villanova went 9-2 in non-conference play, and out of the timeout, a much-needed point for the Wildcats.
Much needed. They need to find a way to stop the momentum of the Jays. They need to find a way to come in executing the game plan, and on that swing, she did a really good job of getting those blockers on the way down, and she was able to find that high, deep seam, and you just have to find a way to keep stringing along runs, and that's exactly what you're going to want to do early in this second set.
There's Megan Ballinger. Heavy swing from her.
Ballinger's so versatile. She's able to swing out of the middle, but on serve receive, you're able to have her run behind. And so that opens up the block because you have Zimmerman, who's able to swing out of the back row right down the middle. And then if you're able to move your middle and move her behind your setter and have an outside hitter, that really keeps the blockers on their toes.
Sanaa Barnes reaching into the table to keep that alive, but they didn't do anything about that swing from Keely Davis.
She's just doing a tremendous job of seeing what the blockers are giving her, and Cole did a really good job of seeing that her middle blocker was late. She also realized that her right side in Barnes was just coming in from a broken up play, so she went towards that matchup and she caught, you know, a huge seam, and Davis took it.
Serve too long from Jayla Zimmerman. Second service error of the match for Creighton, who generally served very well.
They do, and it's a high risk, high reward. The one thing that you want to do as a server is you want to train consistently, but you also want to be training aggressively. And you don't want to be doing one or the other. You definitely want to be doing both at the same time.
Second ball, Madeline Cole. First time she's used that attack tonight. She picked a perfect time.
It's so important to have a setter that is able to have that presence of being an offensive threat. It keeps your blockers honest, especially when you have so many hitters that the Jays have. To be able to throw one more offensive weapon is huge. And so for Cole to be able to test that was a really good decision by her.
Emily Bressman out of the back row. Her first kill of the night. She's a defensive specialist here at Creighton, but she was a great attacker. A great outside hitter in high school.
She was a 6 rotation outside for most of her career as a young athlete, and you typically see that sometimes with your higher level athletes. If they're playing 6 rotation outside and they make that transition into the defense, as they get older, they're still able to have that back row presence offensively.
And Madeline Cole aces, and it's 12-3 Creighton. And some frustration, I'm sure, for Josh Steinbach, who knows his team is capable of playing much better than this, but the Jays a very good team. Hit the official's arm guard there, which you don't see a ball do very often. 13-3 Creighton.
No, you don't. They're just having a hard time tonight making the adjustment of slowing down the Jays' serving presence. And if you are Villanova, you're going to try to find a way to have an answer, because they're going to need that quick.
And that was outside the antenna. Another point for the Jays.
And what we had coming into tonight was 2 offensive teams that are so well balanced. There's so much parity in both of them. And so it's a really good offensive matchup and an even matchup between the 2 teams. But if you cannot pass, you cannot highlight that offense. And you know, Creighton has taken advantage of that.
Better pass that time, and it sets up Barnes. And Josh Steinbach told us this week, we've had matches where we passed really well, other times we didn't. And he knew they were going to have to pass well tonight.
Yeah, he knew that he wasn't going to have to necessarily pass better than Creighton, but he knew that their Wildcats were going to have to pass good enough to be able to compete. And to do that, you have to be able to keep those hitters somewhat in system.
Jayla Zimmerman was certainly in system there.
I just love watching Cole and in how much she involves everybody on the floor. She involves her middles, she involves her pins, she involves her back row, she plays defense, and that is, as a setter, to be able to be a servant of your team in that way, it's just always so fun to watch.
Keely Davis with the ace for Creighton. That is their 7th ace of the match. Villanova have not had one yet.
Yeah, they're going to have to find a way here quick, otherwise this match is going to get away from them.
And Davis into the net.
And even if you miss a ball aggressively in the net, you'd rather it's one and the same. You either miss it aggressively in the net or you make an easy attempt over. And at this level, there's just too many good hitters and too quality of setters to just be setting the ball over.
There was a clean block for Villanova as Emma Decker was there. Sophia Howling was in the mix as well. Not sure which one of them got it. Maybe they both did.
I think Howling did. She has a very physical presence for the Wildcats, and that's a big reason why they are so great in transition, is because of her presence of getting those block touches. So she's going to want to continue to find a way to get involved at the net so she can continue to contribute in that way for her team.
McKenna Krause subbing in to serve for Creighton. They've subbed her in to serve a handful of times over their opening matches. Krause from Greenville, Wisconsin, a freshman, defensive specialist, and she digs there. Zimmerman off the block. That's a point for Creighton.
Yeah, another seam that we saw there in between the seam, and I think Creighton's done a really good job of seeing that seam and going after it. Typically, if you see a seam, either hitters don't feel confident in going for it or they're trying to go for a tool. And as a hitter, you're trying to find a seam or you're trying to find a tool. And tonight, the Wildcats are giving the Jays a lot of seam.
Yeah, we saw in the first half of that first set, Shannon, the Wildcats, we talked about their ability to get hands on balls at the net, to be able to block those initial attacks. They haven't been able to do a lot of that since, and they certainly couldn't do it there on Costello.
I would attribute that also to how well the Jays are passing. You know, if you're passing well, it is harder as a blocker to to be able to set up on a fast offense that Cole runs, especially with it being so evenly distributed. So I would also give credit to the Jays on how they're passing.
Applause for Madeline Cole as she jogs off, and for Ali Van Ekeren as she subs in at the setter position. Van Ekeren, his mother played at Illinois. Her brother is a setter at the University of Hawaii. Big volleyball family. Freshman from Naperville, Illinois. Zimmerman serving meanwhile. There's a clean pass. On the slide. Creighton called for a violation. It's 19-8.
You see she just kind of got away from herself when she landed, almost kind of brushed her shoulder right into the net there.
There's some miscommunication there, forcing the Jays to free ball it over. Barnes was blocked by Kostelak.
That was very, very, very impressive. To be able to go one-on-one against Barnes, who does such a great job with so much versatility in her shots, to be able to read that she was going cross-court, for Erica to be able to get her hands over the net and take that away from her early was very impressive.
And Kostelak with the ace.
You can tell the Jays are really working hard from week to week within their serves, because it's definitely paying off tonight with how aggressive they are behind the line.
And Creighton made tons of service errors their first few weekends. That point goes to Villanova. At one point they had, I think it was 45 aces and 92 service errors, and that's way out of whack. Last weekend, very few service errors, but Coach Booth felt they were sometimes not aggressive enough at the line, and so far tonight, I think they've had a really good mix of that.
I would agree. I think they've done a very good job behind the line tonight.
Van Ekeren setting up Ballinger for the kill.
When you have just a balanced team like you do in the Jays, you're able to keep arms healthy, you're able to keep legs healthy, you're not putting too much weight on one kid or the other, and that's what you're seeing with the Jays this season so far, is that they've been able to distribute between so many different hitters, and it's been fun to see the ball distribution from the setters.
That point goes Villanova's way. Creighton, though, 3 points away, potentially, from a 2-0 lead. Ellie Olsonowski serving. Coach Steinbach called her one of the best leaders that their program's had in a long time, but that serve, not what she wanted.
Leadership is key, and to be able to have players that are not only leading by example, but they're leading with their voice and their efforts, that's huge. And I know that Villanova is definitely capable of giving a run here to the Jays. It's just finding a way to get back to what they know that they can do, and executing the game plan that they were planning on coming into tonight.
Van Ekeren served, then dug. Davis, too long. But Villanova, to your point, Shannon, last year they were swept in straight sets when they visited Sokol, but that opening set was 30-28, so they usually give Creighton a tough time one way or another.
Yeah, and I think just the serve and pass side is what's gotten away from Villanova tonight, especially here in the second set.
Good job by Fairchild to find space in the middle of the Creighton defense. 2 points in a row for Villanova.
Yeah, very smart. She saw that the off-block defense in Zimmerman was kind of still moving. Defense wasn't completely set up there, and it's smart just to try different shots.
Davis blocks 3 in a row for the Wildcats, showing a little life late in set 2.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of being disciplined on their block setups. They're doing a good job of taking different risks offensively. And if you're the Wildcats, you're trying to do anything that you can to build momentum, whether it be within this set or going into set 3.
It was Fairchild with that block. Then the overpass and make it 4 in a row. Fairchild having quite a run here.
Yeah, they made that switch early here in set 2 where they gave Fairchild the opportunity because they needed that extra pass, somebody to do a better job of keeping their team in system. And it's good to see her, be able to take that, come in off the bench and be able to give points to her team.
Zimmerman looking for the tip, not called. 5 in a row for Villanova. Timeout Creighton. Best run of the match for the Wildcats. And again, it might still be too late for them to salvage set number 2, but at least something to build on going into intermission.
Absolutely. Momentum is key, and being able to give the Wildcats a little bit of confidence of, hey, we are a very capable team. We came into this conference, this first game of conference play, having a pretty successful non-con season, and for them, it's okay. What is it that we came here to do? What are we able to do? Let's calm our nerves down, and let's go after and attack it. And so that's exactly what Coach is saying right now. Let's stick to the plan. Let's keep going after it. Let's stay disciplined on our block setup. Let's stay aggressive behind the serve line, so that way we can either capitalize on what we're doing right now here in set 2, or we can take some momentum into set 3.
So a replay of that last point. The Jays thought there was a touch at the net, but it doesn't look like they're going to bother to challenge it. And speaking of Villanova, though, on their strong non-conference season, you mentioned they went 9-2. They had wins against Yale and against Temple. Those are 2 wins they were really pleased about, especially Yale, always at or near the top of the Ivy League standings year in and year out. And Temple, of course, one of those big Philadelphia rivalries, that Big Five that still matters so much to people in the Philadelphia area in any sport. And they look to continue this 5-0 run out of the timeout. Van Ekeren with the short set for Kiana Schmitz, the 2018 Wisconsin State Volleyball Player of the Year. She's on the board tonight. The Jays have set point.
Witt did a great job of coming in from that timeout, getting a great pass. That was very smart there to be able to set the middles and just get a quick side out.
Keely Davis looking to give Creighton a 2-0 lead in the match. Not yet, though. Off the slide, Sophia Howling tooled the block.
She's been very successful on that tonight. And if you're the Wildcats, when you're going into set 3, or if you're continuing throughout here in set 2, you have to be able to see what is working for you. And that slide has been very effective by Howling, by just going off of the outside's hand for an easy tool.
Crowd remains on their feet at Sokol. Still set point for Creighton. And the back set for Jayla Zimmerman. And it is 2-0 Creighton. Zimmerman, her 8th kill of the match. 25-16 Jays, as they have rolled through these opening 2 frames. We'll break it down on our intermission. We'll also show you a feature on Creighton's new training center when we return.
What is a Villanovan in 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Back at Sokol Arena, matching 25-16 set victories for the Creighton Blue Jays in sets 1 and 2. Back here courtside, I'm Donnie Barnes. She's Shannon Smolinski, and going according to plan for Creighton so far, and from Villanova's standpoint, Shannon, just haven't been able to pass and receive as well as they've wanted to.
They haven't, and that's exactly what they're going to need to do coming back into set 3. They have such a balanced offense. They do such a great job of distributing that ball and running a fast tempo, and so that's what you're going to want to do if you're the Wildcats coming into here set 3.
Well, Creighton have certainly looked well prepared so far tonight, and they're doing that preparation in a new and upgraded facility. Now, let's see the Ruth Scott Training Center.
To the Ruth Scott Training Center, or as it is called by our women's volleyball and basketball players, the Ruth.
When we heard that they were going to build the Ruth, we were really, really excited.
To see the name on the front, the Ruth, and just like represent Ruth, obviously she's a strong woman, and so it's empowering to see like how much Creighton has put into like women's athletics.
It sends such a message to our female athletes. You know, we now have 3 facilities for 3 programs, meaning men's and women's basketball and volleyball. So our players, specifically to volleyball, always have access to a court.
It's really special, and it's awesome that we have our own space now. Creates a lot of opportunity to not have to miss class or schedule around other people's practices, which is just awesome for us.
You always see the basketball nets that you can push a button and they fall down. Well, we've got volleyball nets that you can push a button. So if the players want to come and serve, or if they want to come in with their setter and get reps, there's opportunities to do that.
If you do have a net that just lowers from the ceiling, you don't have to set up a net all by yourself, so you could go in and serve. So I think it kind of allows people to get some individual skill work done, which is something that we didn't have the first couple years I was here.
To say that we've got this commitment to our athletics, particularly our women's athletics, is really, really critical. I have to say, getting in there and using it, it's maybe even better than I anticipated.
Our sights and our goals are set very, very high, but we know that we can get there if we work hard. So I think that's just kind of going off of that experience. It's kind of what I expect every single year and what drives me forward.
Our goal is to win a national championship here. You know, that Elite 8 run allowed us to get into the door with other recruits. So it doesn't just happen overnight. It's about taking the steps every single day and doing the right things. It is about peaking in November so we can be the best that we can be.
Difference in how they prepare for matches. And Shannon, you've seen the growth of the volleyball system here in the Omaha area over the last couple decades as you've coached here. It's really night and day from where it was 20 years ago, isn't it?
It's a volleyball state. Nebraska is a volleyball state, and so Omaha, Lincoln, the clubs here, the high schools here, such talented kids, such talented coaches, and it's really cool to be able to see your programs like Creighton be on the rise and compete so high nationally, and it's because volleyball is just big in the state of Nebraska.
Let's look at our match stats through sets 1 and 2. As Creighton have certainly been on top statistically with those 25-16 and 25-16 victories. The Jays back out on the floor getting set for set number 3. Villanova, meanwhile, they showed some better things late in set 2. Went on a nice 5-0 and 6-1 run, and that'll give them some hope and some confidence that they can extend this to a set 4 and beyond.
You're right, they can, and it did. I think it definitely, that late run there in set 2 definitely gave them some confidence of knowing what they're capable of, and also knowing the importance of attacking a game plan and what that really does to stay disciplined and to trust that game plan, and that will lend in success, whether it be in kills or whether it be in blocks. So just staying disciplined to the details is exactly what the Wildcats are going to need to do here set 3.
Sokol Arena just about jam-packed again tonight. It's always a good time here, and Villanova have had much better attendances the last couple of years at their home matches as well. They sold out their match against Temple about a week ago, and that was a big deal for them. They had 1,200 fans in their building and talked about how loud it was and what a great atmosphere it was, and that's something they want to see more and more as the Big East looks to continue to grow in volleyball from top to bottom, as we talked about earlier. It just makes such a huge difference, especially in a small building like this one. When you fill it, it's so loud and it's so intimidating for the opposition.
Absolutely, especially if you're Villanova and you're not used to playing in that all the time. It can rattle your nerves, especially early in the match.
Early 1-0 lead for Creighton in set 3. The little dink for Megan Ballinger.
Just smart seeing that the libero was still moving back and that her off-block defense in Barnes wasn't ready to go, and just being able to see that it's just an easy kill right over the block.
Kostelak serves long. 1-1.
If you're Creighton, staying disciplined on being able to attack deep while not giving those one-and-dones, it's a little bit more, you're a little bit more lenient on your athletes if they're missing maybe their second or their third serve, but missing your very first serve is not something that you want to see as a coach. So in both of those serves that you just saw, it was both of their first attempts. So you're definitely not going to want to be exchanging points that easily.
Brittany Witt. A good serve, and then a better dig on Barnes. And Hickman on the back line. You know, Brittany Witt is almost always very good in that libero spot for Creighton, but she's been outstanding tonight.
You're right. She has been really, really, really good. And I think what is even most impressive to me is she's not only been great defensively, but she's done a really good job for the Jays tonight on serve receive, which is just huge.
I think they're going to re-serve that. There was a second ball that had rolled out toward the court on the near side, although, no, maybe there's a... I'm not sure what Josh Steinbach isn't happy about, but he's clearly not happy with the second official.
I think what he's upset about is typically, as an official, you're not going to blow the whistle unless it's going to impact the play. And I don't think that ball was necessarily going to roll it on the floor. And what had happened in that play before the whistle blew was his team got a really good pass. Yeah. And so he was a little upset to have that taken away.
Good pass there, but then the block of Howling's attempt. The slide from Hickman was handled. Long cross-court set for Keely Davis. Good rally here. Barnes. Right to Zimmerman. And then Davis. Oh, missed an opportunity there. 4-2.
Yeah, she was just a little bit wide on that one. I think she might have overran it. Typically, when she's hitting as high as she is above the net, she's usually able to hit that deep line. But if you overrun it just a little bit, that contact point of the ball, it's just going to sail just a little bit too wide.
Right, 2 digs in a row from Reagan Lowe. And that leads to a second straight Villanova point. Reagan Lowe's been a little quiet in that libero position tonight, but made a big impact there.
I think so. I think in the last couple rallies, it's almost been a showcase of your liberos where they are just taking the brunt of some really heavy balls, and they're both doing a really good job. But it's good to see her putting up a fight there for her team.
And then Madeline Cole, that is, winning that joust. And she's so strong on those jousts at the net. She rarely loses them.
Yeah, it definitely comes down to strength, but it also comes down to the timing. You don't want to be the first one to jump on those overpasses, or you're typically going to be caught on your way down. And if you're on your way down, you're going to lose your strength. And so I think not only is she such a strong athlete, she's also just so smart.
Slide from Howling, sent back at her. Witt with the bump set for Bressman. And it wound up on the Villanova side as Howling couldn't get tight enough to the net.
Right, she misread that she had it hit her in the back row. I think she thought she had her 2 pins that she had to defend and that she would have to either go left or right. But she lost Bressman in the back row, and so when she saw that set was back row, she was caught off guard.
And then Howling got a tip at the net. That's a point for Villanova.
Yeah, she caught one of her blockers being a little bit undisciplined on their setup, and their body got caught pressing their hands into the net there. And that's what Villanova's going to need tonight. They're going to need to capitalize on any of those unforced errors that Creighton gives them and try to put a run to it.
Boy, Cole acrobatically dug that out of the net, but then much too long. Jay's out of whack on that point.
Yeah, I think she's a little bit frustrated there. I think she thought that the block was reaching over when she was trying to take that second ball, but I don't think that they got a touch on it.
Delaplane on serve for Villanova, looking to tie this third set. And they do. Mallory Potts makes it 6-all.
Why not try to go after the hands? I mean, you might as well try it early. And so on that one, she sees that she has the forehands, but those forehands are straight up. And if they're straight up, they're not going to be blocking you. You're either going to get a tool or you're going to find a seam.
4 kills for Mallory Potts tonight. Since Villanova are on the verge of putting something together, and they take the lead for the first time.
That was a really smart adjustment there by Decker. The last time she tried the setter dump, she tried it against Witt, and that one she went after Cole, which if she wasn't successful on the kill, at least it would have put him out of system because she would have been taking the first ball. So it was really smart there by Decker to do so.
Cole pushing that to Zimmerman. Hickman off the tape. What a pancake by Lowe. Villanova taking 6 of the last 8 points here, but Jayla Zimmerman ties it up.
Both liberos are doing a great job tonight. I mean, they are just getting phenomenal touches on the ball. That pancake was so impressive. And then to dub that up with another dig, but Zimmerman saw that deep seam, and she went for it.
9th kill of the match for Jayla Zimmerman. Kostelak has 8. Davis and Ballinger have 6 each for Creighton. And that's an ace, and the Jays back in front. Keely Davis, she's had a few of those as well.
They say the ball only knows angles. And so if the ball only knows angles, you have to really present that angle early. And I think tonight with Villanova, they're just struggling on getting that angle early to the ball. They're kind of swinging their arms a little bit. You know, moving those hands a little bit too slow. So they're going to have to make an adjustment here pretty quick.
There's Kostelak, also with her 9th kill of the night.
The amount of kills that Creighton is getting, it's just hitting in those deep seams. So they're finding a way to sneak around the block or sneak inside the seams. And it's just really, they're just really doing a good job of finding the perimeter, deep perimeter of the court.
Oh, Zimmerman just couldn't quite get the touch back over the net there. Not the prettiest point for Villanova, but they will take it.
And that's what they've done well here in set 3, is anytime that they can catch the Jays making an unforced error, we got to capitalize on it and let's make a run. And that's what they did the last time there was an unforced error. So we'll see here if they can take that unforced error and capitalize on it.
Again, another ball had almost rolled onto the court. And now Lowe serves. Floats one very shallowly, and it's a violation on Creighton to tie it at 9. That was a very unconventional serve, and it caught the Jays completely off guard.
I'm just thankful that it resulted in a Villanova point, because I think that coach would have had a hard time with that, because the ball could have aced the server with that ball rolling out on the court. So he was not too happy about that.
Well, somehow kept alive by Kostelak, who then blocked the return. And another block. Zimmerman rejects, and the Jays lead again.
2 solo blocks, 2 phenomenal setups by both pins. On that last one, where you see that they'll get the ball over, that one was just a great effort, but this last one was just set just a little bit too tight, and Zimmerman did a really good job of getting over and taking that angle away early.
Jays have defended Mallory Potts really well. Second ball, Cole was there. Ballinger attacks. Villanova into the net. 11-9. Timeout taken by Villanova. Back and forth in set 3. Very competitive so far, but Creighton looking for the sweep tonight, and they lead. Creighton had 2 players on the Big East Weekly Honor Roll this week. Keely Davis, whom we've talked about a lot tonight. Megan Ballinger, the Big East Defensive Player of the Week. And Shannon, what makes her, when you watch her in person, what makes her such a good defender at the net?
She's disciplined. She does a really good job of trusting the blocking scheme and reading what the offense is showing. And you can tell that with her being a senior, that's going to help because she's been in that Blue Jay blocking system, defensive system for a while now. And so typically your blockers that are good blockers are just really disciplined within their eye work and in the details of getting their hands over and pressing. And I think she does a phenomenal job of doing that.
Feels like a really big point here. Kostelak dug by low. Villanova trying to hang around in set 3. Who touched that last? Villanova did not, and that's their point, and they win it.
Squeaked off of the tape there. It's a great ball put up there by Cole, and she tried to hit that cut, and it just kept rolling off that tape and went wide. And again, that's another, if you're the Wildcats, any unforced errors, let's capitalize. Let's see if we can't pull away with a run here.
How did Witt get underneath that ball to pass it so perfectly, which leads to that from Erica Kostelak?
She's doing, again, like I had mentioned, not only is she doing a great job defensively, but serve receive, I think, has really improved for her, especially this year, her senior season. When that ball is floating just barely over the tape, it's going to drop. It's just the bottom is going to drop out of it, and she did a really good job of keeping her hips under, driving under that ball, and finishing her movement and her angle.
Kostelak, the first in double figures tonight with 10 kills. Sanaa Barnes. Great roll shot.
Coach Booth, like I had mentioned, talked about Barnes and her versatility, and the Wildcats, they're going to need her. They're going to need her to step up and really try to find different shots to try to keep Creighton's defense honest and really try to keep pressure on them. And we'll see what Decker decides to do as far as how she can continue to run all of her pins as well as keeping her middles involved as well.
That was Barnes' 5th kill tonight. Villanova within 1. Ballinger gets the line.
And that's what I'm so impressed with by tonight is you saw on that last set when she said she only had 1 blocker, and so she's able to hit into that seam. But usually when you hear seam as a hitter, you are going to just swing away and get on top of that ball. And what Creighton's doing a really good job of is they're hitting that deep seam, which even if there was a block there, they're going to be able to get a high tool off of that. So the discipline in their offensive shots, you can tell they've been working on it.
Villanova answered right back with this from Ellie Olsanoski.
Yeah, running that 3, just to be able to run her on that angle 3 and be able to hit into that 1-6 seam. That's a smart set there by Decker.
Ballinger tipped. Davis tight to the net and a bit too tight. We're tied in set 3.
We'll see here what the Wildcats can do with it. Again, trying to put pressure on Creighton, putting pressure on them from that service line and just staying aggressive to be going after their passers.
Olsanoski's serving, but into the twine.
It's almost as her toss got away from her there. And as she was on her way up, that ball kind of crossed over to her left shoulder. And so on that one, She just got caught on her way down. It's definitely one that she'd probably want back.
Brittany Witt loves that cross-court deep serve. But Sophia Howling puts that away. That's her team-leading 8th kill. And it ties this set at 14.
They need her. They need her to be effective. And if you're Howling, you're going to turn around and you're going to keep encouraging your passers, because the only way she can be effective is if they continue to pass that ball like they just did there. So if you're Howling, you're just going to keep encouraging those defensive players to keep working hard.
Hickman off the slide. Clean dig by Lowe. Delaplane had it sent back. Howling did as well. Delaplane toward the back line, too far.
Really good ball control that you're seeing there from the Wildcats, to continue to, even if you're getting your setter where they're taking that first ball, to be able to have a libero that puts up a pretty good ball there in what she did. Unfortunately, her outside hitter was just a little bit too early and swung just a little bit too wide.
Great serve from Cole, but a better dig. And that leads to a huge point for Villanova. That was Sarah Ullman who upped that ball, and that was not an easy one. And instead of being down 3, Villanova down just 1.
Yeah, you just got to keep fighting. And if you're Delaplane, that feels really good to just be able to get that kill underneath your belt, to be able to keep attacking there and to get that tool.
Full set Zimmerman. Ended up right in our laps, and it's back to a 2-point lead.
That was a good effort. Yeah, that was a really good effort. They apologized. That was a really good effort.
Which was unnecessary.
Right.
Here you go. Coming right at you, right at us. I had good hands there, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. You did in warm-ups, too.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Villanova continue to hang in.
It was a smart ball there by Decker, and she has to keep taking offensive risks, using Delaplane in the back row, and she's able to just get that one-on-one with Hickman, which opens up a seam between that 1-6 seam. And if you're Decker, you're going to want to keep taking offensive threats because they will pay off.
Hickman was blocked. Jays keep it alive. Chance for Villanova to tie. Zimmerman, yes.
Again, you see another high swing on out of system. That ball might have been out, and then they were able to find a way to get her all the way on the pin. She was able to sneak around that outside block, and not only sneak around him, but she was able to hit that deep corner shot, which is just so hard to defend.
Ali Van Ekeren back into serve.
Here she served mostly as the opposite, the right side for the Blue Jays, and this year Kirsten put her on the outside to start and kind of played a little bit with her on the outside and the right side, but she's doing just a tremendous job of leading by example and being versatile, not only by her role, but also within her offensive shots as well.
There's Reagan Lowe, who, as you saw, was also on the honor roll, and deservedly so. She is such a key player for Villanova. Her mom played at Boise State, actually coached Reagan in high school. Dad played quarterback in college, Division III at Redlands University. Reagan Lowe is second in the Big East in digs coming into this game tonight. The non-conference play. Villanova need this one, and they have it. Clean swing from Mallory Potts. They're back within 2.
Clean pass, clean set, and disciplined by the hitter to be able to see that there was just the one blocker there. She saw the one blocker, went for the seam, and then was able to execute to get a kill there.
Emma Decker, again, their best serve. They need a good serve. It was dug by Zimmerman. Ballinger dug by Lowe. Cole with the sprawling up. Kostelak, there's low again. Zimmerman. This time it was up by Decker, but into the net.
You hate to see that rally ending on a miscommunication play like that, because what a showcase of defense that rally was. Just a tremendous job by all of them. And usually in that play, you want your libero taking that ball, and for whatever reason, Lowe hesitated. But what a tremendous defensive effort on both sides of the net.
Sanaa Barnes. Did that hit the floor? It looked like it did, yes. Belated call, but it certainly appeared it bounced off the court, and what a swing that was from Sanaa Barnes. Her power there was pretty incredible.
Yeah, the ball definitely bounced. It had a lot of pop on it, that's for sure.
Villanova still in this, down 2, late in set 3. And to avoid the sweep. Second ball from Cole. Again, she hasn't used that play very much tonight, but when she's used it twice, it's been effective twice.
Keep going after it. If they're not going to have an answer for it, keep going after it. The middle blocker there, that's her job, especially when Ballinger was on the right side. She didn't have that middle presence, that quick middle presence, so I think she knew it too.
There was Ellie Olsonowski keeping her team within 2.
And that's exactly what she needed to do for her team. That play before where she missed her blocking assignment, she comes back, she makes it up with a kill, and now if you're the Wildcats, you're going to try to make a run from it.
Olsonowski goes to the service line. Zimmerman, wow. It wasn't her best pass. I don't know if it was Cole's best set, but Zimmerman made up for all of it.
That's where you just trust your hand contact. You trust your hand contact, you trust your vision, and you trust your training, and that's what she's doing tonight, and it's really worked out well for her.
She's 3 points away from closing this out. They handled the tip from Barnes that time, and Zimmerman this time was handled by Decker. Barnes again, cross court, but missed the line. And Creighton are 2 points away.
Looks like he might challenge it.
He will. We've not had a challenge tonight. They might as well use one now if you're Josh Steinbach.
And it was close. It's hard when we're at this angle to see if that ball was in or out, but looking at it live, it looked as if it was going to drop in just by where she was contacting and how she contacting. Did that ball drop in? Did it sail wide? I'll be curious to see.
Remember, this is exactly what the down official is seeing. It does appear that it's out. Certainly not enough to overturn if it somehow ticked that line. Yeah, it looks like clear separation between the tape and where the ball lands.
And it's hard from the angle that they're seeing it at. And that's where your line judges are positioned best to see that. And she definitely made the right call.
And again, you only get 3 challenges a match. When you're down to your final 2 points, might as well use one and see if there was something that you didn't see initially. So 23-19. Brittany Witt on serve for the Jays as they try to close in on a conference opening victory. They remain unbeaten in league since 2017. And Keely Davis off the block. It's match point.
Just a really disciplined performance tonight, not only by Keely Davis, but the whole Blue Jays. I mean, they have done a really good job tonight of being very disciplined.
Toweling off a spot on the Villanova side of the floor. Everybody up at Sokol. They're used to standing up 3 times a match here. The Jays 52-2 in conference play in this venue. Barnes, dug by Bressman. Davis off the block and out. Make it 53-2 for the Jays in Big East play at Sokol Arena and make them 1-0 in Big East play in 2019. A straight set win for the Jays, 25-16, 25-16, and 25-19 in this third set. But Creighton certainly did what they needed to do tonight, Shannon, and Villanova much better in that third set, but the Jays just a little too much.
And they were. They just did a really good job tonight of showcasing what they've worked on in the gym, serve and pass, as well as their discipline on their offensive shots. And Villanova did a great job of answering in set 3. It was just a little bit too late.
We'll hear from Creighton head coach Kirsten Bernthal-Booth in just a moment as she's making her way over to the table. Has to be pleased with what she saw tonight. Coach Booth putting the headset on. All right, Coach. Congrats on the win tonight. What did you love about your team in winning in straight sets today?
I thought we played one of our best matches. I thought we were really clean. I mean, in game 1, we had 1 error, which is really a number, or maybe 2 errors. And then in game 2, the libero didn't get a dig. And that was a huge point for us, was not to get the libero involved. I thought they passed a lot better in game 3. But our serving was better, and not just because I thought we were consistently serving aggressively, but we made them earn points to get out of it. And we've had an issue of maybe scoring 1 or 2 points and giving them the point by an error, and that's been a really something we've been working on, is making them earn their way out of it.
You talked a lot about your offensive parity throughout this season. Obviously, you have to attribute that to Cole. What would you say specifically that she's doing well for your Blue Jays offensively?
Well, I think you hit it, is that you don't know where she's going. And I thought she made some unbelievable sets today. And then I thought she had some routine sets that she didn't set as well as she normally does. But she's fast, and she can take a really, bad pass, maybe a ball that a lot of people would be taking with their forearms, and take it and put us in system. So she's doing a lot of great things, and I think she trusts everybody. And I think that's a big, big thing, is that she feels like she can go to anybody.
Last thing, Coach, Jayla Zimmerman, 13 kills tonight. Again, so versatile. What did you like about her performance?
Yeah, I mean, I just like that she's kind of found a rhythm, and Cole trusts. I mean, talk about someone that she trusts. She trusts her in the front row, in the back row, on the outside, on the right side, and then Zim just does so much from a passing and defensive standpoint. She's carrying a lot of load for us.
All right, congrats, Coach. Good luck on Sunday against Georgetown.
Thank you.
That is head coach Kirsten Bernthal-Booth after a straight set win for her team over Villanova tonight. We'll wrap it up from Sokol when we come back.
What is a Villanovan in 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Wrapping up from Sokol Arena tonight, where Creighton swept Villanova 3-0. Back here courtside one final time. I'm Donnie Barnes, along with Shannon Smolinski. And Shannon, we've talked a lot about what Creighton did well tonight. For Villanova, again, much better in that third set. What did you see from them that they can build on going into match 2 in Big East play?
They did a great job on serve and pass set 3. They passed a lot better, and they did a lot better job of serving aggressively. You're definitely going to want to go back in the gym and work a little bit harder on those details, because they have the pieces. They have the offensive weapons. They do a great job in their blocking schemes. And so if they could just do a little bit better job of being a little bit more attentive to the details on passing, as well as being aggressive on their serving, I think they'll bounce right back.
Well, Creighton remain unbeaten in Big East play since 2017. Villanova still the last team to beat them in the Big East, but could not do so here tonight. That'll do it for us from Sokol this evening. I want to thank Brad Pace, our executive producer tonight, Joe Willman as well here at Creighton. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast here on BEDN, presented by SoFi. For Shannon Smolinski, I'm Donnie Barnes. Good night from Sokol Arena in Omaha, Nebraska.